in the investment world, your firm was well known for quite some time before the last recession. It was a very successful firm before, but in the last recession, your firm performed extremely well, maybe better than any other major hedge fund. So as I recall, you're up 28% or something like that during the worst year. So are you anticipating a recession now, and are you changing your investment approaches, or you're not quite where you were in 2007?
In 2007, it was pretty easy, I think, to calculate that there were these debts that were going to come due, and that there was not an adequate amount of funding. And so that sort of debt crisis was something we anticipated and we were positioned well for. When I go through those calculations, it's not the same. In other words, the amount of maturing debt and that whole problem doesn't look the same. It looks more like a gradual squeeze having to do with quite a lot of debt of a certain type. But with that, also pension liabilities and healthcare, particularly as that produces a greater squeeze. We have large deficits and so on. So the amount of promises that we have are large, but they're going to be coming at us at a more gradual pace, and I think that's going to produce a squeeze. I think related to that, what's important is that when you don't have monetary policy being able to be effective, what kind of monetary policy we will have. We will have, more than likely, a lot of debt monetization.
On fiscal policy, there's no room for additional tax cuts. Do you agree? Because we already have such a big deficit, so you couldn't really cut taxes anymore, or do you not agree with that?
I believe that in terms of spending, that probably there will be increases in spending. That probably will not be well funded. And so now when you ask about that, I think we have a political question, and which is relevant to also the markets. Between now and the elections, we're probably going to have very different policies, but policies maybe more of the left and policies more of the right, more extreme policies, greater polarity, and the choice will be greater. And how those choices are made is going to be very important to not only the size of the deficits, but the nature of taxation. So I think that when I'm looking at the presidential candidates, what I do is I look at what their policies are, stated policies in terms of any of their various policies, and I look at that as a probabilistic basis.